Hello, welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 248, and I'm Laura, also known as Manic Lala today.
And I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is April the 13th. We're back after a 2 week hiatus, I guess.
Was it 2 weeks or 1 week? We just took 1 week
Well,
off,
we
right?
took 1 week off. It's been 2 weeks since we
Yeah.
recorded, so.
There you
Um, anyway, yeah, so it's mid April. It's tax week.
go. Oh, that's true.
Um, and
That's all the excitement we got. It's our 5-year anniversary.
it is. We have been, as of this episode, actually a little earlier in this week, but this episode is our 5 years. So we've been doing it 5 complete years. So now we start on our 6th year of podcasting and talking to little cameras. um, so anyway, this is a knitting podcast. So why don't you talk about what you're working on?
Sure. I am right now working on the I-cord ties of the top-down bonnet with anime face by the lovely Hello Yarn. Let's see. It looks like that. It doesn't have an anime face. Mine doesn't. But it's a cute little bonnet. It's bonnet-like. And it's got this cool back little decreased detail.
Oh, cool.
I'm thinking I'm gonna put, the pattern has like these flappy ears that you can make.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm totally gonna do the flappy ears. I haven't decided. I have this much left. So what I am knitting it on are size 4 needles. The pattern calls for 3s, but instead of using a sport weight, I'm using a DK weight. This is Marigold Jen in the Yoshi colorway. I knit some socks out of this a couple of years ago, some toddler socks. It was a free pattern. It is still a free pattern. And this was my leftovers. So I am working on this cute little hat because I have 4 baby showers to go to tomorrow.
How do
Although
you get
now
that
it's,
many in one day?
so it's a joint baby shower. They're doing
Oh,
all 4 people, and it's in my library, and every single one of the people are 8th grade teachers, 3 of which are English,
wow.
and then 1 special education who works with the English teachers. So I told them I'm not going up to their hallway. I'm not drinking their water. And there's actually only so I'm the librarian at a school, and we have at our school an English coach, and she works with all the English teachers on various things. And she, like, if there's like a long-term sub opening, she'll go in there because she's a certified English teacher. She'll teach, but she can't do that for 3 at once.
Yeah, that is a
So
little
she's
difficult.
gone into like panic mode a little bit because it's a lot of long-term subs.
Yeah.
And everyone's due within like a week and a half of each other. It's crazy.
That's, what is it, the last month before school that everybody's due?
Yes.
Or?
Yes. So I don't know what month these children were conceived in, but it was a very popular one.
Apparently.
So this is the first thing that I'm working on. I still have on the needles the Claqueton beanie, which is out of this is the 2-color beanie pattern out of Claqueton Australian Superfine Merino. It uses a gray and a mustard color, and I have to get to like 11 inches total, and that's like 7. So I did like 5 stitches on this the other day while I was waiting for something to download on my computer. So it got a little bit of work. It's on size, I think it's on like size 6s. I'll have to check and see. But yeah, just a little bit of work on that. And then the last thing that got tons of work, but it's getting ripped out.
Oh, no.
It's my fat scroll bag. You already know this. Don't try to be empathetic.
Oh, yeah. You brought that with you. Okay.
When I went to Leslie's wedding, I knit on this sweater the whole entire time. This is the apple cider donut. And actually, I was mad because I had only brought 4 of the 7 skeins with me, and now I'm super glad I did. Because when I got back to my house, can you see how, I'll do it this way. So it's the apple cider donut sweaters from the Rhinebeck sweater book, and it's a fun pattern, but those are very different colorways. I don't know, it's not showing up super
It's not
well.
showing up. Well, yeah, it's like right at where you divide for the sleeves, it looks
And
like.
then at the bottom, it's totally different too.
Yeah, they're...
So I did not, because I'm an idiot. sometimes. I didn't even think about, like, it didn't even
I've
cross my
done that
mind.
so many times
This
where I'm like, I know this is a hand dye. Why didn't I alternate skeins?
So this is a hand dyed yarn. It's this gorgeous yarn in the clematis colorway. It's Northumbria Aran. It's a 3-ply superwash BFL yarn from Miss Babs, and I have 7 skeins. And I should have alternated skeins. So I'm knitting it on size 9 needles, and it was a super, like, I knit all this in one weekend
Yeah,
essentially. It was a 4-day weekend, and I was in the car for like 10 hours, but still, like, all this got done
yeah.
in one weekend. And actually, like, 5 of those hours in the car, I was not knitting, so on it at all. Because, yeah, I'd run out of yarn at that point. So,
Naps had to be taken.
yeah, well, there's always naps that have to be taken. Um, so it's gonna get all the way ripped out. I think I'm gonna rip it all the way back. I want to double, since I have this huge swatch now. I'm totally gonna double check my gauge
That's a good idea, yo.
and see how that's working out for me. And that's about it. I'll probably cast it back on again over the summer when I'm home and bored and do stuff, but it's gonna kind of get set aside for right now. And that is in my Fat Squirrel Fibers bag. It looks like this. So that is about it for works in progress. Oh, and my little socks are, or my little socks, my little hat is living in my um, bags by Awesome Granny. Yes, that's cute. This is her new medium size, so that's going in there.
Awesome.
But
Yeah, I like
yeah,
that print.
yeah, I do too. I like the super fun foresty prints. They make me happy. So that's it for me for works in progress. So what are you working on, my dear?
Um, I have a few things in progress. Actually, I need to measure this at some point and make sure that it's the right length. Um, I don't have a whole lot of knitting to show this week. I took 3 projects with me when we went to Arkansas and worked on one of them for a little bit. I had lots of free time. I just wasn't feeling like knitting, so
You were hanging out with folk.
I was. So the first thing is living in my Friday Studios bag, and it is the Vanilla Bean socks out of Fishnet's After the Storm colorway.
Now you knit on those quite a bit.
Well, yeah, I think I had them about here, and I finished, but it was just stocking it in the round. So I finished the base of the socks and added toes in an alternating color of Malabrigo. I haven't decided who they're for yet, so I haven't put in heels. So we'll see once I figure out who they're for.
That's important.
So they're mostly done, but I still got about 10% to go on them with weaving in ends and everything. So that went with me along with my narwhal button that I got from Casey of Tangerine Designs.
I have one of those too. They're very cute.
Yeah, she has them in her shop now too. So, and then in a bag that my friend Sharon made for me last summer, I think.
Oh, that's cute.
It's got like bathing suits on it and stuff.
It's very Jersey Shore.
Yeah, it is. And Sharon lives here on the Jersey Shore, so it makes sense. The other thing that I've been working on that's living in that bag is the socks for my long arm quilting border.
Oh, yeah.
These are, it's called Spring Showers is the pattern, and it's being knit out of skein yarn in the fig colorway. And it's turning out really nicely. I'm really enjoying knitting with this yarn. It feels a lot more like cashmere than nylon to me. It's really soft.
I really like that yarn.
And it's got this floral motif. It's difficult to see in this light, but it is there. And I just turned the cuff. It is sort of it's a toe up pattern, which is not my favorite. Just because, and I mentioned this before, I prefer decreases to increases. And on toe up socks, you have to do all these.
But you hate gussets.
I know.
So I don't know how
I'm just an ornery person. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what's going on.
So this one has, it builds out the increases sort of in the center of the foot versus the sides. And then you've got a flap with a slip stitch patterning. This is Spring Showers by TheKnitGirls 76.
Oh,
Christy,
that's like her double gusset pattern at the bottom. Like
is
I
it?
think that's what she calls that heel is the double gusset heel.
Um, let's see.
I like to make things up though too, so don't trust me.
Oh, it doesn't say. The pattern is written in a very conversational manner.
Uh-huh.
Like she sort, it's like a each section she sort of sits and chats with you about what you're doing. So,
That's cool.
it's very approachable. If you were a newer knitter, it would be a very approachable way to start. Anyway, I'm knitting these on size 1.25. I'm sorry, 2.25 millimeter size 1 needles. My Hiya Sharps, I believe. And my yarn cake jumped out of my bag. There we
You're
go.
very sneaky.
And the last thing that I worked on this week was the Bridgewater, which is a pattern by Jared Flood. And it's living in my Kaylee bag by Tangerine Designs. And I finished the square, which is the center section. So the way that this pattern is designed, it is a traditional Shetland. So you start at a point, you increase out, and then decrease again, so you have a square. Then you pick up around the edges and knit circularly. And then once you've knit whatever that pattern is for however deep it is, then you turn it on its side and you do an applied edging all the way around.
Interesting.
So
Are you enjoying it?
I am, but now comes the point where I have to pick up a whole bunch of stitches, and nobody likes that. I'm just deciding that for the world.
I was gonna say I don't mind picking up stitches. I think after doing like 18 log cabins, picking up stitches.
Yeah, that's true. And I actually have to look up how to pick up and knit because I only ever pick up versus pick up
Oh,
and
really?
knit.
I only ever pick up a knit.
And I've just been so lazy, I've never looked it up. So, but I have to pick up 2 stitches in one spot in parts of this. So,
For those
anyway.
corners.
Yeah,
Maybe?
so this is the center square of Bridgewater. It was actually knit this way on the bias. It's knit out of Madeline Tosh lace in the Silver Fox colorway. And this is where I finished up here at the end with just a single stitch. So then I have to pick up along all 4 edges. I think it's 130 some odd stitches around each edge. So I'll have almost 600 stitches, I think, on the needle by the time I'm done. And then I do a lace pattern in the round. This is one that I'm not in any sort of rush for. I just knit on a little bit when I feel like it.
Yeah.
These are being knit. This is being knit on the blue signatures. I think those are 4s.
I think there's
5s.
5s.
3.75 millimeter needles.
Purple ones are 4s.
So that's pretty much all the knitting that I've done. I've got some sewing. I'll show you guys that later.
Yay.
But that's it for knitting. That's all I've done for 2 weeks. So.
Do you have any finished objects at all?
Not knitting related.
Okay. I have a lot of finished objects for knitting related.
Yay.
I know. So I knit Leslie a shawl.
You did. I have that. I brought it because I wanted to show
fun.
it. All right. So this is the Irene Adler,
By Kirsten Kapoor.
which I didn't let slip by me that it is named after a lady who essentially plays a prostitute in Sherlock Holmes. A very highbrow prostitute, but still.
She only appears in one of the stories, actually. It's so funny, like, the movies make her into, like, his nemesis. And she's only, like, briefly mentioned in one of the stories. Anyway, continue.
This is half of it. It's too big to put in the frame. It has a gorgeously long wingspan. I wore it when we got married. And now I need to find a place to put it where I can look at it and not, I almost just cuss there, and not mess it up. Because I tend to mess things up. But it is beautiful.
Yeah. It came out nice. You wore it tied underneath, correct?
I did. The wingspan was so long for me, which is the way I like it. I much prefer it to be longer than shorter. And I tend to fidget when I get nervous, and it was my wedding day and people were going to be looking at me, so I knew I would be nervous. So I tied it under at the back. So
it looked really good.
So that it stayed, and it was almost like a shawl, like a shrug. So, yes, it is beautiful.
I totally took, well, I didn't take a picture. Lori took this awesome picture of you and Michael kissing.
Yeah.
And I posted it in the group earlier without your permission.
It's okay. So
So
this is one of your fantabulous finished objects.
I think that's my favorite finished object that I've ever done. And this is me being a total jerk, but like, so in the Harry Potter House Cup, they can nominate like prize worthy things, and it didn't get nominated, and I was like really kind of sad because I really think it's the best thing I've ever knit. But that's okay. That's actually a very inspiring thread. If you ever want to see like super awesome things, the I think it's like the gallery of.
See, I would take it wrong, and I would be like, I would end up feeling very competitive against everyone. So
I've only been nominated once, like ever, and I've been doing Harry Potter House Cup for a long time. But also, my picture quality is not.
yeah, well, some people can make something really simple look like something really fabulous based on photography. So
Yeah, I tend to take my pictures at 11 o'clock at night the day before things are due.
with a cell phone, yeah.
With a cell phone, yeah. So speaking of that, I finished my owl.
Yay! I told you could do it.
I know.
Thought you were crazy at first, but
Jackaroo is with my mom. She's fixing something mainly because I just kind of looped the buttons. Real like I went through once and just tied a knot in the back, so she's actually putting on the buttons. She's redoing the buttons for me so that they are correctly done and will last a long time. They'll probably last for a while, like looped on. I think I went through twice, but she's doing it correctly for me. Because at 11 o'clock at night, the night before something's due, I get into this manic mindset. So things that I finished besides Jackaroo for the owl, and I'll show that to y'all when it comes back. They're out of town again for 2 weeks. I finished Rocksteady, which are a pair of socks. To see, there's so much stuff on my desk right now because I finished all the things. So there's Rocksteady. There's 2 of them. And this was out of Hazelnut's Artisan Sock in the Shanny Pants colorway. It is knit on size 1 needles. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. And there's 2 socks. And these are Mama Linneman's Mother's Day present. Because when you sew on buttons for me, you get really awesome Mother's Day presents. They are cabled up the sides. But just real brief. And then they decrease down on the front. I don't know if you can really see.
Across the top of the instep.
Into stockinette. So super fun. So glad they're done. Only 2 years, maybe. Whatever. Then I also finished. I have to mail these off to my sister, but for my sister, I finished some Imperial Stock Ranch thrum slippers. So they look like that. They've got these cool thrums on the inside, and you can see the thrums on the bottom too. I got really, really good at sewing mattress stitching. All the things.
It's always good to have a skill.
Those were knit on size 10 needles with Ella Ray worsted held doubled, and that's what it called for, worsted held doubled. And then the thrums are some Jerry Orbach sheep thrums. So that is that. I finished the Kirsten Kapoor mystery shawl, which is Algiers. I really, really like the FO. And this is what I wore around Leslie's wedding weekend. And then Casey, because I was wearing a red top and I didn't want to look too Christmassy, Casey wore it during the wedding, and I wore her Miss Babs Yowza shawl by Susan B. Anderson. We switched. So, but I really like the size of this. I might do her mystery shawl again this summer, because I've liked the last, 3 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, and then all the baby hats.
Yes.
So I'm going to a shower tomorrow, and I thought if we're 4 people, and I thought 3 of the 4 people were having boys, and they are not. So this weekend I knit all the boy hats. Well, one's kind of gender neutral. So the first one that I knit, which I absolutely love, is the golden pear pattern.
Oh, it's so pretty.
I use Dream and Color Classy. This is Chinatown Apple. This is Cloud Jungle. And this was a sample that we got in the SSK goodie bags of the new Classy.
For last year.
Yeah, so one of those little mini skeins, half of it did the top. So that was perfect. So that's the first one. And this is the, I should say, so one is two are having girls, one doesn't know, and then one's having a boy. So this is going to go to the one that doesn't know. I think it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
It's a little African American baby.
Oh, that'll work great with
That'll
the
look,
skin tone.
yeah, with
Yeah.
the skin tone. That'll be perfect.
Beautiful, rich colors.
So that's the first one. Um, the second golden pair that I knit is out of Malabrigo Rios. I have no idea what the colorways are on this one.
Teal feather is the
This is
top
teal
one.
feather.
That's the
Yeah,
only one I know.
I think this is lettuce, and then I think this is like the Elzayers one. This was leftovers from a baby blanket that I knit as a shop model several years ago, held doubled. It was called the nesting blanket. So you held two, no, one skein of Rios held doubled, and it was kind of like you start in the middle and go out, so
Mm-hmm.
it stripes. So that was leftovers from that. I used all the leftovers.
Good.
And then this terrible yarn. Do you remember this yarn? We got it in a goodie bag for some event that we went to. It's like,
Wow.
do you remember it?
I
You
do.
got it too.
Mm-hmm.
So it is kind of like a wool. It's 87% wool and 13% nylon, and it's 90 meters. It is GGH's Travertino, and it's kind of like a ribbon yarn. And I wanted it out of the stash. Like it needed to leave, and this is actually going in the trash. So I knit the Look hat, Luuk,
Oh, cool.
and I added a bunch of repeats. So because one of the comments was that it was the newborn size especially was too small this way, so I added a bunch of repeats. So I made this more like a 1-year-old size. Um, all these were knit on 12-inch circulars. So, because I have a bunch of 12-inch circulars, they're my favorite for knitting baby hats because they're. This is not like a six. Well, these are not 16-inch sizes
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely. Yeah.
So, and this one's been blocked, and this one hasn't. So this one will grow a little bit when it's been blocked. Um, so the 12-inch circulars work awesome. They do hurt my wrist a little bit more. Like I should not be knitting more than one of these a night, but you know. So there's those 3 done baby hats and this one to go, and then I need to cast on a little girl hat. I don't know what I'm gonna do though.
You could make the little
It's
baby aviatrix hat.
I thought actually I cast that on earlier, but that one I kind of have to pay attention to. So I don't know. I want it to be another like rich color one, so we'll see. I have an aviatrix hat right here actually. It just needs a bunch of hand spun, but it's kind of like wonky hand spun. So my gift basket is this is the only thing in the gift basket right now, and it needs I usually like hand knits like when I see a baby pattern I'm like, oh, I'll just knit that, and it goes in a basket. And then when I have 4 showers in one day, I have like this stockpile of stuff. But I have eliminated the stockpile of stuff, so I need to the ones that like are not going tomorrow, like this one and this one will go into the like the gift basket for later.
So are you seriously
Like,
going to try and knit 2 more hats tonight?
well, it's just this one.
Oh,
So
we're
this
almost
one's
done with that one.
definitely
Okay, all right.
This one just has the I cord and maybe ears, and then one more. The woman who I always knew was having a baby girl wants like a soaker, which is kind of like a diaper cover.
Mm-hmm.
So she got for one of her showers like a little Easter hat, like a little cute hat in the newborn size with like bunny ears.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do a sample of what bunny ears look like in case you don't know. And so she wants a soaker with a big pom-pom on the butt to go in a newborn size so she can take pictures.
Photographer, yeah.
Yes. So that's what she really wants. And since she's not going to be at the shower tomorrow because she's probably having her baby right now, her baby's name is Penelope, which is like the best name ever besides Eloise. But I like the name Penelope. It reminds me of Penelope Pit Stop, if you know that cartoon. Did you ever watch that? Oh, man. Anyway. So, or the movie with the girl with the pig
Christina
nose.
Ricci.
Yes, It's such a good movie. So she won't be at the shower tomorrow, so I have a little bit extra time to make that. One of her friends is going to deliver it to her for me, so I've got a little bit extra time. Um, so that everyone's getting a hat with a book, the little like board
Mm-hmm.
books. Was that I showed a couple
You
months
showed
ago?
it,
The
yeah.
Sherlock Holmes, and
Mm-hmm.
so they're all getting something with that, so a hat with that. So I think that's a decent
Yeah.
shower.
A handmade gift is always something you should be grateful for.
Yeah, the board books themselves are like $10,
Mm-hmm.
so get the hat to that. I think it's a decent present. I don't know. But it's been fun going through. Now I have this big, huge pile of like worsted scraps that I want to knit all the
Yeah.
golden pear hats.
I love that pattern. I
It's
use
super fun.
fingering weight held double too.
Ooh, that's a good thing too. And if you're just trying out color work for the first time, because it's every other stitch, it's
It's
really
really
easy
simple. Yeah.
way to do it. So lots and lots. It'd be fun to do like black, gray, white to like have
Mm-hmm.
it fade up. That'd be cool. Anyway, so I feel like that is it for finished objects. That better be it for finished objects.
It's only
Am I
been two
missing?
weeks, you know.
I feel well. It's been 2 weeks, but I finished my owl, so I was super excited
Yeah.
about that. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of work right there. This is why we can't do every other week because,
Then they would be 3 hours long.
well, then I can't remember what I did. And I'm running around my house like a mad person trying to find stuff. I have spinning. You have kind of spinning.
Yeah.
Talk about your kind of spinning
So
because you have a cool new toy.
I did, and so Laura has a picker, and hers is what's called a bench picker. So it's a flat one. So
It's like this right
yes,
behind me,
yeah.
and it's got tons of stuff piled on top of it because that's how often it gets used.
So the way that hers works is you put the fleece in, and then you go back and forth in this motion. I mean, it's lower on the table, so you don't have to hold your elbow above your head, but
Yeah, like well, I stand and it's on top of this. What is that? Oh, that's a hat that I wear. I cleaned out my car this week too. Whoosh. It even has stuff in it too. Okay, so it's got these spiky nail bits.
yes. Wool processing is a dangerous endeavor. There are
You should
lots of
always
fun
have it.
ways.
Yeah.
Yes, you always need your tetanus shot. Um, because an alternative to hand fluffing out all of the locks after they've been washed is to run them through a picker. There are two
Yep.
main kinds. There's one which is Laura's, the kind that Laura uses, which is a bench picker. You go back and forth.
Yeah.
There's also a kind called a pendulum.
I'm still attached to my computer. I cannot
You
go as far
are.
as I could.
While it would be hilarious to see you fall, please
This
don't.
is how this works.
Yes,
You just go like
in a
that.
back and
I
forth
do.
motion. The one that I got is a pendulum style, which
Yeah. Which
um,
I will not get because it's like whoosh. It
um,
uses gravity.
yeah, it swings well, sort of. If you just use gravity, it's not going to do crap for you, but um, it swings like a pendulum on a grandfather clock, and you feed in little bits of the cleaned fiber, and then you really have to use your own elbow grease, and you pick apart, and then it comes out the other end. It flies off the
So
other end.
what a picker does is it takes locks that are very compressed
Yes.
and it opens them. So
Yeah, I was gonna bring some, but I didn't feel like it.
oh cool, I have some. Because I'm
It's so
sorry.
crinkly.
It is. So
So
like
yeah, after you've washed the fiber, I guess some people could do it before. I do it after. Uh, it's still clumped and like
yeah.
almost matted. Not matted, but
Well,
it
it's kind of
feels
like
that
that.
way. It's in clumps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of in a big clump
So you
after
can't
it's
really
long
spin
drive.
directly from that, and you can't really run
No.
that through a carder like that.
So that's how it kind of looks, and sometimes it still has veg matter in
Yeah.
it, like this does.
So you could either by hand manually fluff out every single bit,
Like that.
or you can use a picker, which is what we were just talking about.
Or
Which is
you can take a flicker
That's true.
and you can flick open. Usually I do this on like a towel in my lap,
Yeah,
a
or a piece
cloth.
of leather where you can flick it
Yeah.
against it. Um,
'Cause Working against your fingers is not a
It's a
good way
very
to
bad
go.
idea. But
As I can
basically, the
yeah, it
picker
opens
is
it up.
full of really scary, super sharp nails pointed at each other, and you
Yeah.
put the wool between it, and the nails slide between and pull it apart, essentially.
Yep.
And then it's all fluffy and ready to go into your carter, or I guess you could spin directly from it.
Yeah, so it takes stuff like this and makes it
Hmm.
fluffy like this.
In a
I
cloud, and
kind of
you
love
can see
it
through
already.
it.
Yeah.
It also helps you when you run it through the picker. I found that it helps you identify all the shortcuts before you run them through your carter because it's all
Yeah.
in a big puffy cloud, and anything that's not puffed out usually is a shortcut. I mean a piece of fleece that's shorter than all the rest, and you can't do anything with those. It's your life is too short. Throw it away.
So shortcuts usually happen when the shearer miss it, like they do their first pass and
Hmm.
they leave a little bit behind and they
Have to go
pass
back and cut
again.
again. Yeah.
Yep. So that's how those typically happen.
So I had a 5 pound Romney fleece named Frodo that I got from, well, the sheep's name was Frodo. I didn't name the fleece. Um, that I got from Rhinebeck last year, and it was a chocolate brown color. And I had washed it,
Yeah.
but I haven't done anything else to it. So Saturday and Sunday, I, yeah, Saturday and Sunday, I have this bench in my kitchen. My table has both chairs and
Yeah.
benches. So I had it sitting on the bench, and I was straddling the bench, and then I had a garbage bag on the end at the end of the picker where the good fiber comes out, and I had
Yeah.
it taped down so that all the fiber went directly into that, and I didn't have to try to catch it, or my cats would get into it if it was on the floor. So I sat for hours and picked 5 whole pounds of fleece, and now my palm on my right hand is really sore, or my left hand is really sore because of the pressure points. But
So that's like something that you should not
yeah,
do.
you shouldn't do that much in that short of a time without taking breaks and stuff. But
But
now,
Leslie likes to get things done.
well, I was learning and I was trying to figure out what the right ratio of fiber was. And with this
No, it's
picker,
not a
you can make
criticism.
adjustments to like how high or low it sits
Yeah,
and all that. So I was trying to find like the rhythm of what worked the best,
the rhythm of the picking.
the rhythm of the picking. Yeah. So now I can feed it through the carder, and I've
Yeah.
started that, but it's going to take a while to get through 5 pounds.
So what brand picker do you have?
Um, I don't know if it's a brand. It's the one the Woolery carries. Let me
Is
look.
this collapsible swing
It's
picker that the
called the
Wolverine carries?
Fainting Maiden
There you go.
because it can, even though it's really big and scary, you can fold it down and lock it so that, I would be
Animals
fine
and
with
stuff.
child or
Yeah.
animals around it. It wouldn't be
Mine has
a
a safety
danger.
lock on the top
Right,
too.
yeah. You can still seriously injure yourself folding it down, but ask me how I know. But
See, that's why I didn't get the folding one
yeah,
because
we'll
I'm not
we'll
good at
have it in the
things.
tasting room this year at SSK. Although we will have someone with it to sort
Yeah,
of
we
show everyone
teachers.
because you can really hurt yourself on some of this equipment. So
Oh yeah, and I would like we said earlier before you use any raw fleece products like pickers or carders, you really or hand cards even or hand combs, you should really make sure that your tetanus
tetanus
shot is
shot.
up to date.
Yep.
That's important. I probably am due for mine this
I
year.
think I have another 2 or 3 years on mine. The last time I got mine was when the doctor thought I tried to kill myself, and it was really just a cat food can.
That was a long time ago, dude,
But
because
I
that
already
was
already owned
six.
my house, and I didn't buy my house until 2008. So
Yeah, I would say you were just in your house though, so it was like
look, I still
just you.
got several years. Okay.
Okay. What?
Anyways,
How long do tetanus shots
10 years.
last? I thought they were. Are they 10? I thought they were like 4.
No, they're 10 years. Every 10 years, you need a
Totally.
tetanus shot.
See, this is why you can't trust me to give you reliable
I really
information.
think that's right. Although, if I'm wrong, I'm sure there's going to be several people who tell me that. If I'm wrong, I want to know, but I'm pretty sure it's 10 years. Okay, so anyway, spinning. You have spinning, right?
I do have spinning. I decided to so I was filling all the bobbins for my less is more sweater, and I
Mm-hmm.
decided this weekend that I wanted to ply. So I have been spinning a lot of the over the last year. All I've been spinning on the Lendrum is for my less is more sweater essentially. It's I'm doing everything superwash merino, and I'm trying to do a two ply that's thicker, which is not like a worsted two ply,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a forte of mine. So I kind of dread it. So I don't spin on the Lendrum as much. Like I'll sit for 10 minutes and then I'll be like, and I'm done for a month. So I have some Vice fiber on there right now that Casey gave me a couple years ago
Mm-hmm.
at SSK, but that's getting spun. I still have two bobbins left to ply, so I have done a pound of my less is more sweater. Leslie actually spun and knit the sweater in like a week last year.
It wasn't a week. I think it was 2 or 3, but yeah.
Okay.
But it
Um,
also was using like bulky weight yarn too. So.
and that's when I started spinning these. Shut your mouth. Anyway, and now I'm like not even certain. I think they're looking at them now that they've been washed. They're not too bad. I was afraid they were totally off. So these are the first three. You can kind of see
Stop
they
moving
all
so
have blue.
fast.
Um, the first one, and I labeled them with a one, is Puppy Dog Tales by Southern Cross Fiber. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like I said, all these are superwash merino. This one is 140 yards, but I have a ton of singles left on a bobbin, like probably 100 yards of singles still to ply. So all these are going to be around 200 yards when they're totally done. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the first one. And the second one was I was complaining I didn't have enough fiber for it, so Jess sent me a bag of Puppy Dog Tails. And this one is 240 yards.
It's funny that they're the same color, but the pops are very different
Yes,
of what
they're
you get.
totally. And actually, this one I spun because I had a little bit left over on one bobbin, so I used some of the first singles
Hmm.
and just added it to there. So that's why I got 240 on that one. And then the third was Squish Fiber, and that one is 180 yards, but it's got a good bit left on a bobbin as well. So the first three are plied, and then I have some Nidian color that I spun that's kind of oh, what was the name? Raven was the colorway, and it's like a dark blue with purple pops. And then I have the Vice, which is mostly white with a lighter blue. I think that's actually going to be the first color that I use. And then I have the Lavinia from Into the World in Superwash Merino. So I'm hoping I can get through the sweater with a pound and a half of fiber. That's the goal. If not, then I'll spin more. But so I'm getting that slowly done. That'll be like my first official sweater spin.
Yeah.
So it'll happen. I'd like to have it to happen by like the time we go to Estes would be awesome if I had a finished sweater by then. Because it gets cold sometimes at
You could
Estes.
do it, but you would just have to focus on it.
Yeah, I don't even know that I need to focus on it so much.
Okay.
That's terrible. It's just a top down raglan that would go very fast, I would think. I would need to swatch. That might be the next step. Oh, I could use one of the leftovers from the bobbins that I have like,
You could.
20 yards to swatch with. But that's not it for spinning. And then I'm still kind of overspinning a little bit on the reefs because it goes so fast. And I want my feet to go so fast. But this is some Southern Cross. It was the club earlier this year. I cannot remember the colorway name, but it is Kent Romney Wool Top. This was the other club that came. This one was Heart of Winter, and I can't remember. You can see what it is. Can't remember what this one was, but it's blues and greens and prettiness. So it's a Romney. It's a little bit crunchier, but it's soft for a Romney, and it is 400 yards of uh, fingering weight. I don't know what this like. Okay. So Southern Cross and Hello Yarn and Nest and Spunky Eclectic and Into the World and I'm missing someone. Fat Cat Knits are doing this crazy spin along, and it's crazy awesome. But a lot of the people are doing two plies and then making socks out of them,
Mm.
like out of Romney or
I could see that of a stronger wool. Yeah.
yeah, like a stronger long wool. So I'm thinking maybe socks. I haven't decided yet. But it's a two ply, so then I'm like, it's a two ply.
Yeah, but if it's a stronger wool, like Romney versus
Romney's
Merino,
Am
I,
I and I mean how many two ply merinos have we seen over the
yeah,
years?
that's
Like
true.
tons. So and it's not super washed, so it would have to be hand washed. But I hand wash all my socks anyways. But I'm debating, I'm contemplating that. Because if you need some spinning inspiration, that is an awesome group. And like there are people who the spin along's only been going on since April 1st, and there are people who have spun entire pairs of socks already, which is amazing.
Yeah.
It's totally not me. I actually bought some of I bought some of everyone's, I think.
I love seeing everybody's and seeing what they named, the dyers named the fibers, because I a couple years ago I read they're all like Terry Pratchett and Discworld themed. The
Yes.
colorways are, and I read like I don't know 10 of his books in like 3 months. I was really on a tear, and I really love them, especially Rincewind, the main wizard guy that's in the first
Yeah.
one, The Color of Magic.
Color magic.
Um,
Mhm.
and they sort of go in different directions.
I
But
like the ones with death and the witches.
yeah,
Those
I
ones
like
are
the witches. I like Rincewind a lot though, and I really like Pratchett's other stuff. The children's series. You
yeah,
can't
which
grow a
takes
witch
place in
on
the
chalk. That's one of the colorways. Um, Tiffany Aching.
it's the Leaf yeah, it's the Leaf Freeman's the
Hmm.
first one in that
Yeah.
series. It's the Tiffany Aiken series.
So I like seeing what they've named them and how they've interpreted those colors. That's cool. But I didn't buy any of the fibers just because I don't need them. I want them, but I don't need them.
Which one's been your favorite so far that you've seen?
I think color wise it's Rincewind, but naming wise
I think
it's
that was a spunky eclectic.
You can't grow a witch on chalk. A good witch on chalk. I love that
Yeah,
one.
that's a good one. That's Hello Yarn.
Yeah.
I didn't get that one because it's pretty neutral.
Yeah, it's like
So
solid whites and creams and grays and a little
yeah,
bit of greens. But
yeah, definitely. It's a fun one though. Anyway, we're totally digressing.
yeah.
So that's pretty much it for spinning. I did some Cordell washing, but I haven't done any processing. So I have fluffy bits of fiber drying all over my house, which Humberto leaves alone. He doesn't care. He's too tired and lazy to care. He just lays about
He's
and
not a young pup
vomits.
anymore.
He's not. Sewing. You have sewing. I
Yeah, I
don't have
do.
sewing.
Um, let's see. So yesterday, Laura told me that she wanted one of those 1 hour baskets. It's
I
sort
think I
of
told you I want 5 1 hour baskets.
she and I linked them in the show notes. There, it's a free craftsy pattern called the 1 hour basket, uh, and it took me probably 2 hours, but that included. Sorry, my chair rolled over the blanket I'm sitting under. It took me about 2 hours, but that included cutting, and I had dinner in there as well. So the next one I'm pretty sure I can do in an hour or less. So I just picked fabric I had on hand, and I used upholstery fabric for the outside because I had read in someone's Instagram that it stood better that way. I
Which
got
makes sense.
a free thread there. So I just went through my stash, and this is what I came up with.
Yay! That would be an awesome, like talking about baby shower presents because of baby showers on the brain. That would be an awesome baby shower present to fill with like,
Diapers and wipes or something, yeah.
yeah, definitely
Or burp cloths or something, yeah. So
essentials only.
so I used just some cotton button printed fabric for the inside. And it is a very simple pattern. It's all rectangles.
So happy.
And I used a really firm fusible in there, a craft fusible, so that it gave it more body so it would stand up and not flop. My only complaint about it is that the lining is not tacked down in any way. So
Oh,
it could come out. I mean, if you've got stuff in it, it doesn't matter. You're never going to notice that. But just,
you
you
could
know,
tack it down, I
you
suppose.
could tack it down with just a blind stitch and tack it down in there, or you could, have a thin piece of Lexan or plastic and put it in the bottom to just keep it flat. But I don't know. That would add to the complexity, and then it wouldn't be a 1 hour basket.
Yeah,
So I definitely think
I
this is
like it.
a good one to start with. The instructions are very clear. There's lots of pictures and all that in there. So I showed it
Cool.
to Lynn and Jess, who both decided they want one. So I just need to go through my fabric stash and see what else I have for upholstery. I might make a couple of these
Sounds
for
like
SSK prizes because they were pretty quick. Um, and everybody likes a handmade gift, I
that
think.
would be
So
a good hostess gift for someone too.
yeah, I'm thinking about that. So
Hmm. Yeah.
um, anyway, so that's the 1 hour basket. Again, the tutorial is on Craftsy for
Yay!
that.
I'm so excited. Thank you for making that for
You're
me.
welcome. And the
I
other
was
sewing,
suddenly hinting.
yeah, you were. But I needed like a couple of my friends, Megan and Casey, made one. I think Shannon made one.
Zenith's made one. That's where I saw.
Yes, D-Knit's made one as well. I think that's the first one I saw was the one that D-Knit's made. Anyway, so the other thing that I've been working on is this value quilt, which I've shown you guys before. The fabrics were the ones that I used at QuiltCon in the class.
Yeah.
Um, so I added a backing to it, which I got off of Craftsy as well. They sell fabric and yarn and stuff. And I don't typically ever even look at the yarn, but sometimes they have really cute charm packs and stuff. And they're not a whole lot cheaper than you can get other places, but sometimes you find something cute that you don't see other places. Like
Yeah.
this obnoxious hexie fabric, which doesn't
I
at
love it.
all match the front, and I don't
Does not
care.
matter. I love it.
Yeah, so I got this hexie fabric and used it for a backing. I did some
What
really.
is this for?
I don't know who it's for. I just wanted to
Maybe
make
for
it.
you.
No, it's too small. It's like baby sized. So, well, maybe lap sized, but still, it's too small. It'll go for a baby, but I just don't know which baby yet. I did really.
Fold it up in a 1 hour basket.
I could. I did really simple. The orange peel quilting that I showed you guys last time.
Yeah.
It's really hard to see it because I did it in white, but I just did it over each section, and then I did stitch in the ditch across between all the squares. So it's quilted down really well.
Yeah.
And then today I worked at home. Worked at home. So I had
Yeah,
some.
Leslie texts me at like 4 and she's like, "When do you want to record?" I was like, "Are you home?" Yes. Okay.
Yeah, some days is not as crazy are not as crazy as others. But
I'm just totally jealous you get to work at home.
yeah, I try not to take advantage of it, but this morning I was just dead on my feet, so
I understand
I
completely.
attached the binding as well. I've got lots of frayed ends and stuff, but I just have to flip it over and hand sew it down, which will be my first time hand sewing down a binding. So that'll be fun. I did watch the Missouri Star tutorial on it, so I feel very prepared on how to do it. I just have to sit down and do it.
Okay.
So I might work on that tonight. We'll see. And then it'll be done. I'll have to wash it, so I'll probably show you guys again next week once it's washed and the binding is done. And I'll stand up and show you the whole thing. But it's pretty easy. I mean, I enjoyed working with it. I took the leftovers from the squares, and that's what I did for the binding. I just joined them together and made the binding. That way it would coordinate. So that's it. That's pretty much all. I did have to fix my join for the binding 5 times before I got it right. Because it's
Well,
a
that
long
happens.
strip and then you have to join it. And you have to join it perfectly if you want it to lay flat. And yeah, I had to do it 5 times. So I finally got it.
Yeah, that happens. It's something new.
Yeah. So I have to trim all the threads and then tack down the binding and wash it, and then it'll be ready to go in my little version of a gift basket.
That'll be cool. You're going to a baby shower in like a month.
I am, but I don't know that goes. That's her color scheme, so. But plus, I already have fabric picked out for a blanket for
her. And done.
Yep.
So what? Oh, I have cross stitch. Not that I did, but that someone gave me for my birthday.
Oh, okay. I was like, you did cross stitch?
Oh, you're so silly. Leslie cross stitch. So one of my favorite books of all time, probably my favorite book of all time, is Madeline L'Engle's Wrinkle in Time. And the opening line of that, which is probably one of, I actually like, I think my favorite opening line is the Graveyard Book. And it starts off with, there was a hand in the darkness and it held a knife. But this one starts off with, it was a dark and stormy night, which is like the best cliche opening of a book ever. So I love Wrinkle in Time. Yay! So I have Wrinkle in Time geekery. It makes me so happy. Dude. Franklin Habit had autographed copies of Wrinkle in Time that he put on eBay because it's not his favorite book.
Oh.
And I, like, really contemplated, but I have 4 copies of that book at my house.
So you might need to step back.
I don't need I would love an autograph copy. And she, Madeline L'Engle died a couple of years ago. So it's not like there's one just hanging out, but it's okay. I don't need it. But that's a very special book for me because when we would go on road trips as a child, my mom would read that, and she would read Susan Cooper, The Darkest Rising series, and A String in the Harp by Nancy Bond, and those were like her favorite books that she would just read over and over again. So some very cool memories. So Leslie made that for me for my birthday. I don't know if I said that. It's awesome.
Well, it's part of it, and then the quilt is the other part. So.
Yes. I am so spoiled.
You deserve it.
Super spoiled. And I get into a 1-hour basket, too.
You do.
There's not someone who could be spoiled more than me, except my nieces. So, anyway. We have a question from Cordelia H. Knits, and that question is, since podcasting for the last few years, what has doing this podcast taught/given you? And I thought this was an appropriate question for our 50th anniversary. Yeah. Whether it be about people, knitting, technical aspects, etc. So, do you want to go first? Throw you to the wolves.
I think the most valuable thing that I have learned is, and it's not necessarily specific to podcasting, it's just in general. Podcasting has allowed us to meet a lot of people. And,
so many people.
You know, have some great opportunities for classes. And like a lot of the people that we bring, teachers that we bring to SSK, we wouldn't get to take a class with them any other way. You know, so... Yeah. I think the most valuable lesson is that you cannot make everybody happy. You can't.
That's true.
You just cannot make everybody happy. You can strive to be the prettiest and the thinnest and the most talented and the wealthiest, and you're never going to make everybody happy.
I don't strive for any of those things.
So, I don't know. I think that
I would agree with that.
The crafting community is, by and large, mostly women.
The nicest. Yeah.
Which can be really wonderful. But it also can restore your faith in humanity sometimes. You know, someone could fall on hard times, and without even asking, people will come together and try to find a way to support that person. And it enables this whole community, like Ravelry especially. I would give Casey a big old kiss right on the face if Jessica wouldn't deck me for it. But Ravelry especially, I think it's hard for some adult people to make friends. It's really hard to put yourself out there and make yourself vulnerable. But Ravelry is wonderful for that, because
I think it allows introverts to be more extroverted, for sure.
I would agree with that. Yeah, it allows you to really, in the internet in general, for that much, allows you to in a sort of low risk way put yourself out there. So we've gone a little bit off topic. What about you? What's the
Yeah, no, I think we've met so many nice people over the
That's true.
years. And we've had so many good times. And oh man, it's just been a wild, crazy ride. That's been lots of fun. I definitely think that an individual podcast is not going to be for everyone.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
just like a TV show.
Yeah.
Like you've got to definitely. And at first, when we were first starting the podcast, like we get negative comments every once in a while, especially on like iTunes
Mm.
reviews or whether it be there or comments on, wherever. And I have a bad habit of like Googling the podcast quite a bit, which I did a lot more in the beginning, which
Mm-hmm.
I've totally like, I just don't have time for that
Yeah.
nonsense anymore. Um, but I would get my feelings hurt in the beginning. And now I like over time, it's really become the realization that we're never going to be the
Oh
podcast for
no.
every
I don't think there
person.
is one of those. I mean,
Yeah, like that's never going to happen. There are so many awesome podcasts now. And when we started, we were one of two.
yeah, Karen was the only other
So
video.
Karen really was the only other video podcast. And that's Karen from Round the Twist. She's back,
Yes.
which is super exciting. She does
Mm-hmm.
a wonderful show. She's got twins, which are super fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the whole video podcasting community has evolved so much, and there's so many options. And I
Yeah.
consider myself very blessed that anyone watches us anymore at all,
I know.
because there's so many people who do so many fabulous things that are so much better than us.
Shh.
But it's been so much fun, and we've had such a like I don't know. I'm manic today. I like crazy manic. I got 2 hours sleep last night. I just could not get to sleep. But it's been such a fun, exciting, kind of difficult at times 5 years,
Yeah.
but it's been awesome, and been because of all the like when I think of what's fabulous about this podcast, I don't think about like us in general or techniques or stuff like that. I think about the people that we've
Mm-hmm.
met and the opportunities that we've had to meet people like Laura Nelkin and Susan B. Anderson and Amy Herzog and people who I'm like I remember distinctly. I think I still have this saved. The first email Susan B. Anderson sent us and was like, I really like your podcast, and I'm like, oh my god, Susan B. Anderson knows who we
I
are.
know.
Like total fangirl moments, like, and then you meet those people and they're real life people too who have
Mm-hmm.
their good days and their bad days. And I don't know, Susan B. Anderson's amazing, and I don't know how she does half the things she does,
Oh, I don't
but
know where she gets the hours from, but I
I just
aspire to be her.
and I remember us going to our first retreat
Mm-hmm.
as podcasters and not know, like, we were the video
Yeah.
podcasters. And now the community has grown and become so awesome, and I'm totally ranty, but it's been a wild, crazy, awesome 5 years. And when we started, we never would have thought that Leslie would have moved to New Jersey.
Yeah, and I was going to mention too that it's actually really helped you and me, especially since I've moved,
Oh
because
yeah.
I don't like talking on the phone. And I don't like, I'm not really a sporadic kind of person. So if Laura's like, hey, let's FaceTime, I'm like, I
And
think
I
I've,
won't say, hey, let's FaceTime. I'll be like, FaceTime, hey Leslie,
yeah.
better pick
So,
up your phone.
and I don't know why that is. It's not like I don't want to talk to people. It's just like I feel like it's out of my control for some reason when that happens. But this means I get to talk and see
We
Laura
talk once a
at
week
least
at least.
once a week. Yeah, I mean I text her every day, but like this I actually get to see her. So
Yeah,
we
and
should
I'm
thank
not
you for
super
that.
text. Yeah. But so
Anyway,
many life changes have happened to both of us.
yes, it just
So it's just been crazy
who
and
knows
fun.
where we're going to be in 5 more years.
I don't know. I just bought a roof, so
Yeah. You'll be right there.
um. But yeah, who knows? And it's been so much fun. So thank y'all for all the good times.
Yeah.
And if you see us at an event, because we have several events coming up, don't be a stalker. Come say hey. And we have, I mean, man, it's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited to see people I've never met before, people I'll be meeting for the first
Well,
time,
you never,
people
I
I
mean,
meet
that's
all
one of the
the
great
time.
things about events is like, you never know where randomly bumping into someone in, in a barn is gonna,
Do you remember the year you fell out at Maryland Sheep Hall because someone came up and like screamed and you're what is your
yeah, someone scared the crap out of me.
that was so funny. I love that
I mean, I
moment.
wasn't upset. I was just
No.
startled. But yeah. Anyway, we could ramble about this for an hour, but we're already at an hour, so we'll keep going.
Yes. Okay.
So book wise, I was asking Laura for some suggestions for the plane rides back and forth from Jersey to Arkansas,
Yeah.
and I forgot to actually. I purchased the first book and then forgot to actually download it until I got home, and there was no service in Arkansas. So,
Ad service.
well, yeah, there was no Wi-Fi. So I started the Alana Andrews, who Laura's talked about several times on the show. I started the Kate.
And they knit. It's a
Yes,
husband
it's a
wife.
husband
Husband
wife
wife
team.
knits.
Yeah. So I started. She's got several series. I started the Magic Bites series, which is the Kate Daniels series. I linked it in the show notes, and it is set a little while in the future, and it's set in Atlanta, and the magic has taken over, and the tech has fallen, and there's all sorts of were animals, shifter animals. There's bears and hyenas and wolves and lions and jaguars and lizards and all sorts of crazy were animals. And there's also vampires, but not in the way that most stories tell
Or
them.
like zombie
Yeah, they're
vampires.
they're sort of like,
Piloted.
yeah, they're brainless and they're piloted by other people. Anyway, it was a really good series. I haven't finished it, but I read 4 books in 6 days, all from that series, mainly because the romance between the two main characters was done so well. And
It is.
um, at the end of each book, you're like, oh, I gotta find out what happens next. So,
Cliffhanger.
yeah. So, between the fourth and the fifth book, time passes and it sort of starts a new chapter in the lives
Yeah.
of the two people. So I took a break and then I read another book last night and it sucked. So I'm going to go back and read the next one.
What I really like about that series is it's kind of that no one's safe Game of Thrones type
Yeah.
mentality. Like there is just because someone is a main character does not mean that terrible things are not going to happen to
Well,
them.
and I like
It's
that
very real life.
in a lot of paranormal sort of fantasy romance style, and this isn't, I wouldn't even classify this as romance. It's more
I wouldn't.
paranormal. It's
It's
got some romance in it, but that's
yeah.
not a main part of it. And
It's
the
urban fantasy
Yeah,
technically.
the protagonist, the main character, Kate, she kicks butt. Like,
Yeah.
and she doesn't expect a man to save her. And it's not like, I don't expect a man to save me, but now that I have you, I will depend on you for all things, and I'm not complete without you. Like, she really kicks butt. I like her character a lot,
She's
so.
very self-sufficient almost to a fault
Hmm.
at
That's
times.
true.
Like she could ask for help and there would be people who would come, but she
Hmm.
takes it upon herself
So I
not
like
to.
her. I like that book, and I'm on the fourth Furies of Calderon audiobook. I've been listening to that as I sew and stuff. So, what
Okay.
about you? What have you been reading?
I've been reading some YA. So I finished Stella by Starlight, which is amazing. Sharon Draper. It is a historical fiction. It is middle school, so like sixth, seventh, eighth grade. It's definitely a book that if I was reading it with a kid, I would want like my child. I would like to read it together and have conversations because it is set in let's see like the 1920s, North Carolina, I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to south, and it takes place around. It centers around a girl, Stella, and her brother and her family, and they're African American,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a strong clan presence in their town. And her father makes the choice that he and the pastor of the church and another gentleman are going to get registered to vote and it goes with the consequences of those actions, how it brings the community together. It's just a and the main character Stella struggles in school. She struggles with writing, and her whole struggle is she wants to be a better writer. Sharon Draper is an amazing author. She does some realistic fiction as well that's really, really good. But her historical fiction, especially this and Copper Sun, which is about slavery, um, is they're very, very well done. And I'm not a historical fiction person. That
Mm-hmm.
is not my wheelhouse. That's not something I go to all the time. But she is such a good author that when something new from her comes out, I have to pick it up. So that was super well done, and it's a
Cool.
great book for having discussions with kids. And also, there's a book not by her but by another author called Night Fires, which is kind of like the white perspective of that.
Hmm.
So it's those two would be really good to read together for a unit or something else. I also read today Scat by Carl Hyacin. It is an eco-terrorism book. It's a mystery. See, it's a mystery. He's the author of Hoots, and this is very, very
I've read
similar
a
to
couple of
Hoots.
Carl Hyacin.
Yeah,
He writes very well, but the type of fiction he writes isn't something I read a lot of. But I
yeah.
like it.
So it's mystery, but it has to. His YA all takes place in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and it all has to do with kind of. I mean, basically, it's eco-terrorism.
Yeah.
Like Hoot is about owls, and there's a construction project that's trying to destroy the burrows of the owls, and it's kids fighting back. Scat is not leopards. Some kind of big cat, and it's very similar. Like, except it's oil drilling in the Everglades.
Hmm.
And then I'm reading Skink No Surrender right now by him, which is his new YA stuff. His stuff's more mature than I would say like seventh and eighth grade
Yeah.
versus sixth grade. So like 13, 14, 15 versus and Skink No Surrender would go up even higher than that versus 11, 12, 13
Yeah.
years old. Stella by Starlight. So yeah, I read Scat in one afternoon today. It was awesome. We are having photo day at my school, which takes place in the library. So the photographers come for the first two periods, and then they leave their gear, and they'll come for the first two periods tomorrow. So they leave everything set up, like the big light
Yeah.
umbrellas, the backdrop. So I can't really see kids because I worry that they would dance. Like I worry they would probably be fine, but I'm a worry
I would
wart.
worry too, especially if the school is liable.
Yeah. So and we shove like all the tables and chairs up against the bookshelves, so I can't really see kids today. And then tomorrow I will, but it gave me the afternoon free to read, which was a nice
It's
little
always nice
treat.
for a librarian to be able to have time to actually read the books. That
It is nice. I mean, whatever. It happens. So I always make time to read, but it was nice. So favorite things. You have wedding
yes.
gifts.
So I got married. Um, we actually got married before we left and told no one.
On what day? You and my sister, I swear.
We left on April the 2nd to fly down and get everything ready because everybody was coming the next day. So before we left, the last day that we worked was Wednesday, April 1st, which in the States, I don't know if it's everywhere else, is April Fool's Day. So Michael and I decided that we would, well, I sort of decided because Michael just sort of left it up to me, but um, the logistics of finding a non religious justice of the peace or officiant in Arkansas where we were getting married was almost impossible. So what we decided to do is we got married at work on our lunch break on April Fool's Day, and then we went back to work because we found a local officiant who would do it. Um, and we had a couple of our work people as witnesses. And basically, we just went out to a restaurant in the area. I took the officiant to lunch so she could ask us any questions. We can fill out all the paperwork that we had to do. And then we just went a little ways off the restaurant on the pier in Atlantic City, and she did the ceremony, and there were all sorts of people I didn't know walking by, and we didn't care because that was just a legal thing for us. And actually, when we were done, everybody started clapping, and the waiter guy or the manager guy from the restaurant brought everybody champagne, which is really nice.
That's cool.
It was.
That's super sweet.
And they took pictures and everything. And then when I got back to the office, I had the lady who took the pictures, one of the people that I work with. She sent them to me, and my sweater is buttoned wrong the whole time. Like, that is my life. So,
that's hilarious.
it is, yeah. So I have that picture for all eternity of me with my sweater buttoned wrong, very clearly. So, and then Saturday,
I would totally do the same thing, which makes it even better.
I don't even care. Like, it was just the legal thing.
Yeah.
We've been together 10 years. Like, that was just to make the state happy. And then once Saturday came, we had one of Michael's friends who actually is an officiant legally, but in Arkansas you have to do all these extra steps. So that's why we went ahead and did it in Jersey. He conducted the ceremony, which I think lasted 3 minutes.
It was really sweet.
It was very short. Basically, it was, we said our vows to each other, and then we were done. But I got some lovely, lovely gifts, and that was the whole point of that. I've already shown you the shawl that Laura made for me, which I wore on my wedding day. Laura's already posted a picture of that in what thread?
It's in my projects.
Oh, okay. And I did want to thank everyone for the well wishes on the board. I cannot possibly answer you all, but I appreciate it very much. I got 2 other gifts while I was there, and I'm going to have to unplug to show you guys this first one because it's big. So if you hear feedback, I'm really sorry, but it won't last long. So let me take this out. Okay, so this was sewn by Casey of Tangerine Designs, but there were several people who contributed to the cost of getting it quilted, long arm quilted. It is a beautiful quilt. I don't know that I can show you all of it. Let me step back some.
I like those pajama pants.
Yeah, so it's huge, and it's beautiful, and it's got this really cool backing.
I love the background. That's really cool.
And a really simple but great scallop quilt pattern across it. And here, let me move up here so I could plug back in, because I hate thinking you guys are listening to interference or static. Casey is a tricky little one because she had the top finished several weeks ago and told everyone it was for Annika, her daughter. And I kept telling her how much I liked it because it's so pretty. It's got great colors, and I'll have to see if she'll link the pattern in the thread.
Absolutely stunning.
Because it's really simple with jelly rolls, and then you just cut them at an angle. Because I've got the pattern somewhere. Because I want to make one as well, but now I don't have to. So yeah. I love it. It's beautiful, and I'm so grateful. But I have to take my own advice because I don't want to use it because it's so pretty.
You need to use it.
But
yeah.
I tell everybody else, it's a gift. It's meant to be used. So
yep.
I'm going to have to get over that. So the other thing that I was so blown away by was made by Lori of Deerfield Creations. She's Flutterby's on Ravelry. And there's just so much thought went into this. It surprised me a lot. So this is a wall hanging, which is basically a tiny quilt. And there's so much detail.
Where are you going to put it?
I'm hanging it over my bed.
You should. That's perfect.
So we've got the banner with the little love letters on it. And that's all applied on top of the backing. You've got the tree.
Llamas!
With all the little leaves on it, including, you've got the little sheep. And got little owls and llamas and deer and birds. Just lots of great stuff. She's got the "You Two Freaks Go Great Together" hand embroidered on there. And I didn't even see this before. Two cats playing with yarn
Oh,
in the heart. She's got little yo-yos on flowers here. And my favorite little touch is our initials are carved into the tree.
super sweet.
Yes. So it's beautiful, and I'm so grateful to have friends who can hand make things, because I don't know, there's just something special about a handmade gift. Because it, money is always great. It's always, welcome for people to give money or gift cards or whatever, but I don't know, just I feel like time is more valuable than money, and when someone puts that much time, like with the shawl or the quilts or anything, I don't know, it's just special. So I really appreciated it. So yes, and now I'm done talking about my wedding. What other favorite things do we have to talk about?
Thank y'all for all my birthday wishes.
Oh yes.
So I had a birthday before Leslie's thing.
Before my
Well,
wedding took over.
On my birthday, so it was whatever. So that was lots of fun. So thank y'all for that, and I got some presents. So thank y'all for that too. I am going to start sending out emails for door prizes for SSK. But if you have any kind of thing that you would like to contribute as a door prize for SSK, would love to have it.
Mm-hmm.
Just send us an email and we'll give you information. Stash Dash is coming up.
Yes.
Stash Dash is our annual craziness.
Finish-a-thon.
Yeah, this will be the 5th year for Stash Dash too, so that's kind of cool. So I'm thinking this year, because we've done like 5K last year, I think we should do a 5K, but also have that 10K option for people who really want to like go crazy.
I think that's a good idea.
So we could have a 5K thread and a 10K thread.
Yeah.
Because Jessica and I have decided we want to do 10K.
Well,
we're crazy pants town.
I think that it's doable, especially since we allow spinning and all that in there, and it overlaps with Tour de Fleece. So
it totally does. So does SSK though. So I never.
That's true, but
that's okay.
I don't know. I really want to spin at least 3 of my fleeces before Rhinebeck this year.
That's a good goal.
So I have 4 fleeces. I want to spin at least 3 of them.
I have like 12 fleeces.
Yeah.
Not really. I don't have that many more fleeces than you. I'm almost done spinning the CBM, and I'm almost done spinning the Cormac. That's a good goal.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. We have an SSK Cal going on, and that's located on the SSK board. Back to Stash Dash real fast. Stash Dash allows you to use any works in progress, or and you can count the total yardage, or you can start new projects. It's great for double dipping with things like Camp Loopy, which I'm contemplating, and
or any other podcaster knit-alongs, or
yeah,
we don't care. You can triple dip. It
tons
doesn't
of
matter
stuff
to me.
that you can do with it. It'll start the end of May and go through
the first part of August.
First part of August, second week of August. So usually August 15th. That's pretty much. We'll have more details, Stash Dash, towards the beginning of May when it gets a little bit closer.
Yeah, and you can always go and look at the previous year's threads for
you can
information on like what our general rules are. We are very cheater friendly, but we don't have ways to measure like sewing in there yet. So, so just go and look at our previous ones if you want more information.
One year, but I didn't like grammage and poundage. It wasn't.
Yeah, I think for now we stick with the ones that we've done like last year. I like those rules.
It's a constant evolution, y'all.
It is.
As is life. SSK, it has a Cal going on, and you can find all the details for that in the SSK group on Ravelry.
Yep.
It is anyone who's attending SSK, any patterns by them, and some people were awesome, and like Nelia Bella and Steven.
And like self-promote.
They self-promoted.
We want you to promote yourself. If you're attending and you have patterns for sale or free patterns or whatever on the Ravelry shop, please go, and you're attending SSK, please go and promote yourself in that thread on
Yeah, I
the
already
board.
did it all.
Oh, you did
I
all?
went through it.
Oh,
I
okay.
went through it and promoted
Okay.
everyone. So everyone who hadn't already promoted themselves. That's what I did for 2 hours the other
Oh,
night.
you're so
I
good.
went through 10 different. I don't know about that, but whatever. I was trying to delay on other things. We will have,
Procrastination.
yeah, SSK class signups will be. We're waiting on one thing, and if that happens by Wednesday, then signups will start on Sunday. If it doesn't happen, um, then we will push it back another week.
So
But it'll
in
be
within the next couple of weeks, we'll have signups listed.
and there'll be a blog entry that goes up
Hmm.
on the SSK
Website.
WordPress. Yep. And then I'll also post in the SSK group on Ravelry. So, yep.
Yeah.
And
And
I'll try to
speaking
give you all some notice. It's not so how the class signups work is it's not like a
first come first
first
serve.
come first serve. It is everyone, and for the past 3 years, everyone has gotten their first choice. If you were in SSK at the time, I think every single person has
Hmm.
gotten their first choice for the last 3 years. Then you get one class that's included in the price of SSK. It's 1 3 hour class. If you want to take more than one class, you can for
Yeah.
sure. We've had people take up to four.
Yeah.
There is an additional fee. All the classes are typically Thursday, Friday. Last year we had a Saturday class because we wanted to make people happy. We
Hmm.
wanted to get everyone their first choice
Right.
class. So we gave Amy Herzog a little bit extra money
Yeah.
and hired her for an extra day, but to teach for an extra day. But yeah, it's classes are going to be so much fun, and we'll have all that information posted, and you can go take a look. I'm just waiting on a blurb for one class,
Yep.
so as soon as I get that, we'll be golden. And that person's teaching this week, so I'm busy, not like holding my breath.
And talking about
Um,
SSK, we also wanted to um, thank Three Waters Farm again for being our sponsorship,
yeah,
scholarship sponsor this year. And every time she posts on Instagram, that's Marianne at threewatersfarm.com. She posts these combinations of colors that she has listed in her
yes.
shop, and they're all so beautiful. And I just want them all. And then Sarah D Knits spins all of them, and I'm like, I want it all.
I
So
wish she was coming
pretty.
to Maryland this year so I
Yes.
could get all the goodies. But
But
that's okay. I'll have to order online. I'm
yeah.
perfectly all right with that.
So I think that's it for this week. We've been talking for almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, we'll have an awesome book review next week.
Yep, yep.
We have I'm gonna show you our giveaway for next week. For next week, we have Marigold Jen. I did an order with her, and she sent an extra skein for y'all. Actually, she said I could keep it or I could give it away, and I don't want those yards so badly. But I'll see her at Maryland, so I can pick
Yeah.
up another skein there.
Her and
This,
Hobbledehoy will share a booth.
yeah, this is her Sherlock colorway and
Ah.
the worsted weight yarn. So we'll have this to give away next week. We have some great giveaways coming up, and that's about it. Happy 5 year anniversary,
Happy 5 year
Bestie.
anniversary.
Yeah. It's the wood
It's the
anniversary.
best-iversary. Bestie-versary. There's our title.
Trademark. The Knit Girl.
Bestie-versary.
Not at all awkward to say. All right. Well, I have baby stuff to be knitting.
Yeah, and Michael's been hounding me to come eat dinner for the past hour. So, y'all have a lovely week, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye, y'all.